Welcome, everybody. We will go ahead and get started. We start our meetings with an invocation, which we observe by a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Corliss.
Here.
Halliburton.
Here.
Morales.
Here.
Nash.
Here.
Stead.
Here.
Willits. Here. All present.
Thank you. And next up, we've got minutes for approval from February 6th.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of the minutes of the 4 and 6 p.m. meetings on February 6th, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion, second discussion. Clerk?
Nash.
Yes.
Stead.
Yes.
Willits.
Yes.
Corliss.
Yes.
Halliburton.
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thanks. And now we have, under special business, some appointments to various commissions for the city. And I want to say that I really enjoyed the conversations that I had with so many Boiseans in the last couple weeks as we worked through a large number of people that applied for these positions. And then I worked to make choices that are now in front of City Council. I want to check before we start. Rachel Miller, is Rachel here? Seen everybody through Zoom, but not in person. Is Rachel online? Okay. Patricia Walker? Well, I don't see. Okay. Ben Burnham, I saw Ben. Holly Condi. And Tom Betty. Is anyone else online? Okay. All right. Well, there are a few of you here, and you are welcome to come up and say something if you want. And it was recommended that by Councilmember Corliss that we do a little bit more when we approve you guys today, but we haven't gotten that done yet. But I do have City of Boise pins, so if you're here and you want one to add to the lanyard that you'll get with your badge, you're welcome to come grab one. I would like to. I'll take these up in similar commissions. So. Nominate both Rachel Miller and Patricia Walker for a term ending December 31st, 26 to the Arts and History Commission.
Madam Mayor, I ask unanimous consent for the appointment of Rachel Miller and Patricia Walker to the Arts and History Commission for 3-year terms ending December 31st, 2026.
Without objection. I want to thank them both for their willingness to serve. And also, I just want to know, I really enjoyed the conversation with both Rachel and Patricia about their interest in the commission and their engagement in the community to date. Next up, we've got Ben Burnham, who is here. You're welcome to come up if you'd like, that I would like to nominate to the Parks and Rec Commission for a term that would end February 13th, 2027.
Would you like that now, or would you like that?
Oh, no, yeah, you need to do
Okay.
this. And let's make sure that you become official before you.
Let's make sure you have
Because
the
you know you
votes.
don't want to say anything and then have something else.
Madam Mayor, I ask unanimous consent for the appointment of Ben Burnham to the Parks and Recreation Commission for a 3-year term ending February 13th, 2027.
Without objection. Alrighty, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Cool. Jordan told me I had to talk for an hour, so I've been getting ready. I'm just really appreciative to get to be involved in the city of Boise a little bit more in like a more formal way. Obviously know a lot of you now, and it's been super cool to get to know you. And I really appreciate the work that you all have done. So just excited to be a part of it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for your service. Would you like a
Yeah.
pen?
Yes.
Thanks. All right, and next up, Holly Condi. I'd like to nominate Holly for a position on the Open Space and Clean Water Advisory Committee for a term that would end February 13th, 2027.
Madam Mayor, I ask unanimous consent for the appointment of Holly Condi to the Open Space and Clean Water Advisory Committee for a 3-year term ending February 13th, 2027.
Without objection. All right. You two are official. Nope. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your willingness to serve and your excitement to serve. I know that the commission and the Parks Board, the Parks Department, excuse me, is really looking forward to working with you. Thank you. And finally, we've got Tom Betty. Tom has served already on the Board of Electrical Appeal, and he's willing to serve another 4-year term, which I deeply appreciate. And so this term would end in January of 2028.
Madam Mayor, I ask unanimous consent for the reappointment of Tom Betty to the Board of Electrical, I almost
Yeah,
appointed
Tom
Tom Petty
Petty.
to the Board of Electrical Appeal, which would
That's
have
fine.
its own problems. Tom Betty to the Board of Electrical Appeal for a 4-year term ending January 2028.
Without objection. And again, Tom, thank you so much for providing the city another 4 years of of time. Really appreciate it.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Just real quick. It's always so fun to see the different folks that are applying for and appointed for these positions. I think it's especially fun for council because not everybody else gets to see their resumes that they submit, and then we read through them, and that's what helps us decide whether or not we'll unanimously consent to you being on here. The level of experience that people have, like Tom, that's going into a second term, or folks that have been at a variety of different university recreation departments that they're bringing to the table, or folks from the nonprofit sector. It's pretty incredible, and it's a huge asset to the city. So I just want to thank you all for your service. It really is a big deal. It makes our community stronger, and it helps inform us with the decisions that we make up here. And I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you all. Please don't feel as though you need to stay beyond this point. And we're going to move into the consent agenda now.
Madam Mayor, I'd ask unanimous consent that we remove travel request number 2 for Councilmember Lucy Willits as is no longer necessary. Okay.
Holly.
Did you make the full motion?
No, I asked unanimous consent request so that we would remove travel request.
Oh,
Without objection. Madam Mayor, I move approval of the remaining items on the consent agenda.
Second.
No second. But thank you. I appreciate your endorsement. Oh, are we
Well,
moving?
yeah,
Sorry.
we have a motion, a
Sorry.
second. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I just wanted to highlight a couple of the resolutions that we have on the consent agenda. 17, 18, and 19 are all about affordability, housing affordability, which is something that I know that we all up here care very deeply about. So really happy to see that on the consent agenda. And then additionally for number 20, it was in relation to the presentation that we had earlier in our work session to continue to refine the lines with VRT.
Right.
All right, clerk, will you call the roll?
Nash.
Yes.
Stead.
Yes.
Willits. Yes. Corliss.
Yes.
Halliburton.
yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. All right, we will now move into readings. It looks like there's nothing on the regular reading calendar, but there is one ordinance on first, second, and third reading.
Madam Mayor, I move that all rules of the council interfering with the immediate consideration of ORD 7-24 be suspended, that the portions of Idaho Code 5902 requiring an ordinance be read on 3 different days, twice by title and once in full be dispensed with, and that the records show it has been read the 3rd time in full.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Clerk, will you call the roll?
Nash.
Yes.
Stead.
Yes.
Willits. Yes. Corliss.
Yes.
Halliburton.
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries. ORD 7-24, an ordinance amending the solid waste franchise agreement for the 4th amended franchise agreement by and between the city of Boise City, by and through its Public Works Department, the city, and Allied Waste Services of North America LLC, doing business as Republic Services of Boise, Republic Services, adopting an updated reimbursement rate schedule to increase reimbursement rates paid to Republic Services for solid waste collection and disposal services, providing for a waiver of the reading rules and providing an effective date.
Madam Mayor, I move that ORD 7-24 be approved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Discussion?
Madam Mayor, just for what this is really our partnership with Republic Services, which has been an incredible community support partner with all that we do, including a lot of our climate work with the electrification of some of their fleet. And this is really just recognizing their own raises for their staff, their inflation and different costs for insurance that are going up, and making sure that that's in alignment. So I think that this is an easy thing for us to approve. It's such a great partnership, and it just recognizes those rising costs.
All right, clerk, will you call the roll?
Nash.
Yes.
Stead.
Yes.
Willetts.
Yes.
Corliss.
Yes.
Halliburton.
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
And next up, we will head into new business and public hearings. And we have one item, CAR 23-16. And we've got, I see the applicant here. Is anybody in the audience for this item? Anybody online? Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with the city, Ms. Lyle, and then hear from the applicant to whether or not you're in agreement with terms and conditions of staff report and see where we go from there. Go ahead.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. The item before you is CAR 23-16. It's a modification to an existing development agreement to allow outdoor storage on 6.08 acres in an M1D DA zone located at 2171 Danzy Drive. As a reminder, this application is being evaluated under the Legacy Zoning Code. The subject property was rezoned from A1 to M1D DA in 2022, with the development agreement limiting specific uses, access, and hours of operation, as well as requiring a landscape buffer between the subject property and the land uses to the east, which are residential. The original plan presented is on your left on the screen, with a warehouse on the western side of the property to accommodate for a large Idaho Power easement as shown. The applicant is proposing to modify the DA to allow for a laydown yard, which is an outdoor storage use as shown on the right. This is conditionally allowed in the M1D zone, and the Planning and Zoning Commission approved a conditional use permit to allow the proposal under CUP 23-22 in December of 2023. To mitigate any potential impacts to the residential developments to the east, the applicant proposes to maintain the landscape buffer, to maintain the emergency access only from Danzy Drive, as well as the hours of operation outlined in the original development agreement. Additionally, they have submitted a sound study to demonstrate the noise levels of the laydown yard will be similar to a gas-powered lawnmower, and have proposed a road mix base to reduce dust and debris. And finally, a design review will be required for any proposal on the site. The applicant has also proposed to expand the non-allowed uses on the DA as outlined in your packet to forbid industrial uses that create excessive noise, odor, or debris, or any otherwise inappropriate uses next to residential. And in conclusion, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval, and I will stand for any questions.
All right, thank you. So we'll hear from the applicant. I think best if you let us know if you're in agreement with the terms and conditions and see if anybody has questions for you.
All right, Elizabeth Kekritz with Givens Pursley here on behalf of the applicant. I think Jesse did a great job of covering this. We were before Planning and Zoning Commission had the conditional use permit approved. We're just here for the DA modification at this point in time. We are in full agreement with everything in the staff report and the conditions of approval. And so I would just stand for questions.
Madam Mayor,
Mhm.
could you speak a little bit to the landscape barrier that will be present between the laydown yard and the nearby residential?
Yes, this landscape barrier, and I think if you went back to the picture, there was a year and a half ago when this first came up, the property was originally zoned, but then this development was approved prior to anything coming in there. There were lengthy discussions. None of the neighbors had ever really come up and said anything, but there were lengthy discussions with the Planning and Zoning Commission then about installing. It includes an enhanced berm that's taller than your normal berm. I believe it was 40 foot. At the end, it does taper down to 15 feet just to make the angle, because the applicant owns the property to the south off of Braniff. And so all of the access to this is through across their other property. But it does have a berm. There's going to be significantly more landscaping here than typical, those sorts of things.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is the neighborhood association here? Anybody here to testify on this? All right, with that, I'm going to close the public hearing.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of CAR 23-00016, modification to an existing development agreement at 2171 Danzy Drive on 6.08 acres in an M1D/DA zone.
Second.
We have a motion and second discussion.
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate the perspective that the Planning and Zoning Commission brought to this project. I think that the added conditions of approval just improved the project. I like the landscape buffer particularly, and also the addition of operating hours.
All right, clerk, will you call the roll?
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts. Yes. Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton.
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
There's nothing else.
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
I whispered it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.